Fendi, what is your opinion on reality TV? Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to When a Killer Went on a Reality Dating Show. I bet he killed it. Okay, that's the only joke I'm gonna make. I had to. I mean, when else am I gonna get the chance to make that joke? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay? Okay, let's get into the video. What an intro, guys.
While the idea of a murderous mastermind like Hannibal Lecter is pure fiction, many serial killers have functioned well enough to pass as everyday people and avoid suspicion for years. In fact, some of them have managed to be charming enough to get on TV with nobody the wiser. And it's happened more times than you think. So, today we're tuning into 7 vicious killers who appeared on television before they were caught. But before we get started, be
But before we get started, I want to say, I mean, today dating is so unreliable, especially with like all the dating apps and everything. You never know who you're going to go on a date with. I'm scared of dating. I don't think I would date on like dating apps for that reason, because I've heard a lot of very scary stories about like Tinder dates and stuff. And it's just unpredictable. And also, I must say, I mean, having a killer on a reality show, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but because usually, or sometimes, I wouldn't say usually, but most times people like this are somewhat like charming, if that makes sense, kind of like, but it's also weird that someone would put themselves in on TV. Like, it's a bit odd, but I mean, it makes like the cover even better, doesn't it, to like show yourself, because then people wouldn't suspect it, expect it. But yeah, let's see what this video is about, because I have never seen this before and I'm intrigued.
you want to hear about. Nobody say, cut to commercial. Do you ever think the minor background players on your favorite reality shows might be hiding a dark secret? Well, you're gonna start thinking that now. In June of 2014, an episode of Celebrity MasterChef featured English singer J.B. Gill serving pasta and meatballs to bus drivers. It wasn't until later that people realized that one of the chefs working with him was Stephen Port, who would later be arrested in October 2015 for poisoning 4 men. It's chilling to realize that the man cooking with Gill met men through gay websites, lured them to his home, and poisoned them with lethal doses of GHB. Coincidentally, 3 of Port's victims were found right around the time this episode aired. Port was sentenced to life imprisonment on November 25, 2016. However, numerous questions about alleged improprieties in the police investigation have arisen since. And if you want to see a TV show about a killer who appeared on a TV show, trippy, we know, check out BBC's 4 Lives, featuring the...
Hold up, this was a chef that was poisoning people? I wonder if he poisoned them through food. I don't know what that poison is that he just mentioned, but that's like... I wonder how the judges felt after like the show and after knowing that, because that's scary.
normally comedic Stephen Merchant as Port. Would you go on a blind date with a serial killer? That's almost what happened to an unlucky woman named Cheryl Bradshaw on the dating game back in 1978, when she chose Rodney Alcala over the other contestants. When asked what his best time would be, he answered, nighttime, further explaining that nighttime's when it really gets good. His response to what food he would be, a banana, was laced with just as much innuendo, with Alcala telling Bradshaw, peel me. Alcala was playing the dating game the same way as countless other contestants, albeit his performance is undeniably creepy in hindsight. But off the air, Alcala was an active serial killer, one of the most notorious of the time, nicknamed the dating game killer after his appearance.
Damn. He's old in that photo too. Is that like when they realize that he's or is this like a court afterwards? Because if they caught him looking like this, he was a free man like most of his life, I would say. Wow. What? First of all, yeah, his responses were eerie, but like if you didn't know that he's whatever he is, I don't think anyone would suspect, because oh, nighttime is when it gets down. I mean, that can have multiple meanings, but clearly for him it had a specific meaning.
On the show, Alcala was confirmed to have slain at least 8 victims, though the true number is unknown and could be as high as 130. Bradshaw didn't end up going on the date with Alcala, saying,
How do we go from 8 to 130? What do you mean it could be 130? What? Has he never confessed or what? Like, what? Is there so many murder cases that are unsolved? From 8 to 130, that's a big gap, guys.
I started to feel ill. He was acting really creepy. I turned down his offer. I didn't want to see him again. In other words, if someone isn't vibing right, it's best to trust your instincts. If you want to see the dramatization of this chilling experience, check out Netflix's Woman of the Hour.
Women have the best intuition. Also, if she did something, I mean, obviously she didn't, because she's awesome. But my childhood would be ruined. So I hope this is not going there. But I very much doubt it. But yeah, women, you should trust your intuition, trust your guts, because they're usually right. I don't know if men have the same ability, but I don't think I've like, obviously I've been wrong because I'm delusional, and I but usually my intuition is pretty correct, usually, not always, but usually.
Directed by and starring Anna Kendrick as Bradshaw, with Daniel Zovato as Alcala. Otherwise known as the BTK killer, Dennis Rader was a notorious serial killer active in the Wichita, Kansas area from the 1970s through the 1990s. The BTK killer was particularly adept at blending in, and when he finally was captured and charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder, his community was shocked. He had a wife who had no idea of his horrendous hobby, and he was even the president of his local church council. In the early 1990s, Rader worked as a dog catcher and compliance officer for Park City, Kansas, and gave...
I've thought about this a lot. Like, imagine dating someone like for years, and they have like a big secret that you've never found out, because there's a lot of like child predators and stuff like that that are married, and then their partner had no clue. First of all, how can you go so long without having a clue? But second of all, like, imagine how you feel after like your whole reality has been a lie. Like, the person you fell in love with is not the person you thought for like maybe years. I think that's like just crazy. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't know how that feels, but I can just imagine it would be like you would be questioning everyone for the rest of your life, probably.
An interview on the local news talking about animal attacks. Watching the video, it's hard to imagine Rader being a notorious serial killer. He comes off as run-of-the-mill, soft-spoken, and middle American. But Rader remained at large as one of the 20th century's most infamous criminals, until he finally was apprehended in 2005. But BTK isn't the only violent offender to pop up on the local news. Back in June of 2011, Mercer Law student Lauren Giddings was slain in her apartment. As police scrambled to find out what happened, the news did a live interview with Giddings' neighbor and fellow Mercer Law student, Stephen McDaniel, to try to get more information about Giddings.
Also, I have a question for you guys. Comment down below. Is there any like women serial killers? Because I don't know if I've heard of any. But why are they always men? I might be completely wrong, but I don't think I've ever heard of a woman that's a serial killer.
Did they know McDaniel was actually the murderer? He had snuck into Giddings' room late one night and strangled her, then tried to dispose of her body. For most of the interview, McDaniel plays it cool, but it's very clear that he becomes shaken once the news team reveals that Giddings' body had been found in a nearby dumpster. For a man who studied law, he made surprisingly little effort to cover up his crime.
I wish I seen that part.
On December 22nd, 1985, John Cooper slew millionaire farmer Richard Thomas and his sister Helen in their home. 4 years later, Cooper appeared on the dart-related game show Bullseye. He did not win, which psychologists say would have been extremely infuriating to him. A month
4 years later.
later, he took the lives of 2 more people,
What is Bullseye about? I've never heard of it.
Peter and Gwenda Dixon, with a shotgun. His appearance on Bullseye, which led to him being dubbed the Bullseye Killer, actually helped prove to authorities that he was the killer. During the show, Cooper talked about how lovely Pembrokeshire is, which is where the Dixons were slain, and footage of Cooper was used in comparison to a police sketch of the chief suspect in the Dixons' murder. For the police, that
Ooh, that sketch was pretty spot on, honestly. I always wonder, like I've never seen comparisons of the sketches, but I always wonder how accurate they can be, but that's pretty accurate. Like even the nose, at least the form of the nose.
sketch of the chief suspect in the Dixons' murder. For the police, that must have been what's the word for when you hit a target dead center? It'll come to me. This
Bullseye.
former Jeopardy
so
contestant
slow.
was arrested nearly 2 decades after his wife died under mysterious circumstances. Who is Paul Curry? To be on Jeopardy, you have to be pretty smart, which may partially explain how Jeopardy champion Paul Curry got away with murder for over a decade. Paul's wife, Linda Curry, was found dead in 1994, and the autopsy revealed
That's another thing. Imagine going over a decade, and you haven't been caught. You probably think, it's over with. I wonder, how much, after a decade, how likely is it that you think that you're gonna get caught? Probably pretty unlikely. I think the first, few years would be the worst. I wouldn't know. I'm kidding. I really wouldn't know. Wait, that sounds so boring. No, but honestly, imagine after a decade, I would imagine that you're just oh, okay, well I did that. No consequence, which is crazy.
she died from nicotine poisoning, even though she wasn't a smoker. Paul tried to collect more than $500,000 in life insurance money after her death. Okay, so maybe he wasn't that smart. Paul Curry thought he stayed one step ahead of the police for quite some time, but as it turns out, the law was just taking their time and being thorough. It took 16 years for prosecutors to build a case against Paul, until he was finally arrested in 2010, after having moved and remarried. 4 years later, he was found guilty of first-degree murder and insurance fraud. The news magazine show 48 Hours did an entire episode about the investigation called To Catch a Genius. Maybe he should have gone on Wheel of Fortune instead. How could an attractive, successful, wealthy real estate developer...
I mean, To Catch a Genius. I don't think it's ever genius to make those types of decisions, and I honestly wouldn't glorify it like that, but okay. Okay. I mean, you can make a documentary about it, but come on, To Catch a Genius. I don't know how I feel about that.
And reality show star turn out to be a cold-blooded killer? That's the question around Ryan Jenkins, who was accused of dispatching his ex-wife, Jasmine Fiore, and dumping her remains in a trash. His ex-wife...
I'm sorry, but what is that? He looks like a hedgehog. He looks like a hedgehog if it was a person. Literally, this is what a hedgehog as a person would be. Right? Look at the mouth and everything. It's kind of hedgehoggy.
Jasmine Fiore, and dumping her remains in a trash bin. Jenkins had recently appeared on an episode of Megan Wants a Millionaire, where wealthy young men competed to win over former Rock of Love contestant Megan Hauserman. His friends and family were shocked when Jenkins, whose show nickname was Smooth Operator, was accused, but his behavior made it hard to believe he was innocent. He was always quick to anger on the show, and it was later revealed he had been charged with a misdemeanor count of...
I'm sorry, but if this woman, he just gives off bad vibes. Like, look at that smile. That looks like straight from a horror movie.
Domestic violence. After he was accused, Jenkins fled to Canada, where he holed himself up in a shady motel and took himself out before authorities could apprehend him. Megan Wants a Millionaire Network VH1 had performed their usual background check on Jenkins, but somehow missed his history of domestic violence. After a long court battle between two private investigation firms hired by the network, an expensive settlement resulted in near bankruptcy and a frustrating lack of conclusive fault. VH1 canceled Megan Wants a Millionaire the day after Jenkins' death and shelved a new season of another reality show called I Love Money, because Jenkins appeared in that show as well, and won it to boot. Why are these guys so good at game shows? So what do you think? Have you seen any of these broadcasts? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.
Have you seen any of these shows like before The Truth? I've never seen these. Obviously, these were not probably in my time. But well, I mean, yeah, but I was a child. Wow. There's a lot of people, but like, imagine like everything that's come out, for example, this year between the celebrities, like anyone could do anything, anyone could be anything, and that's kind of scary. Like, you never know who you talking to or what they actually did. I mean, the only thing we have is our word. I mean, you can like add up things from our past, from like photos and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, I could tell you right now, because you guys don't know me like well enough yet. I could tell you that I own, well, no, that would be kind of, my parents own a private jet, and we go to the Bahamas for vacation every spring. I could build up a whole personality around lies. And that's crazy. I wouldn't do that to you guys though. I wouldn't. But like what I'm going for with that is that, you know, I don't know what I'm going for that, but probably somebody understands what I'm going for with that, because like it's just crazy. And also, like, to put yourself on TV, weren't some of these like on TV afterwards? That's just crazy to me. Why would you do that? Like, very genius. But hey, okay. This is I think the dating show one was the scariest one, but even scarier was that she knew. Like, she was like, I don't get good vibes from him, and didn't go, which is amazing for her. But damn, that intuition, guys. Pretty good. But thank you for joining me for this video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.